Hello, fellow drummers, musicians out there. Thanks for tuning in. This is Mike again. Today with a review of the latest EZX expansion library from Toontrack. It's called Custom Shop EZX expansion pack for the EZDrummer 2 drum software and of course for Superior Drummer 3. First and foremost, thanks for Toontrack for giving me a free copy of that EZX to make this little review. Highly appreciate that. So the Custom Shop EZX was released yesterday, so it was quite unexpected, honestly. So there was no hint or any thing that would lead to this release, especially after the famous Metal Month in November, in which they released already the Drums of Destruction EZX. So, anyways, always good to have new drum libraries. So. Of course, I've loaded up an instant of EZDrummer already, but as always, for everyone who really wants to deep dive into all the stuff that Toontrack made to make this possible, highly recommend to go to their product website, which you find here in the description box below. So you find not only the specs, which you see here, which we're going to talk about in a few, but audio demos, making of videos, some audio demos just of the drums with some explanation from the drummer, interview with the drummer, interview with the engineer, which is always cool, which I like a lot, and a full instrument list as well. So without further ado, let's jump into this EZX pack. For me, it's quite a cool approach, and I think it's kind of like the first time Toontrack released a pack which is not 100% dedicated to a certain genre, as the name suggests. Custom Shop EZX provides really handcrafted, unique drum tones. So I had the feeling this is kind of like the first library pack that's especially made for drummers, or of course all musicians that like special drums, special sounding drums. But I think it's really kind of like made for all the drummers out there that kind of like get bored over time by almost the same samples. So the Custom Shop provides, as you see here in the description, it's 4 full kits with additional kicks and snares. It's the Q drum. All the companies that the drums are included here make and provide and produce handmade, unique drums. So you find them, usually you don't find them in a common music store in your city. So you have to order them, and they are like really made by hand, especially customized and special and tailor-made for the buyer. So we have the Q drum company, the drum set, which is made of copper, which is really cool because copper usually is a material that's just used for snare drums, but they even build kick drums and toms out of this with a maple enforcement ring, I think. We have Fipes. I think we already had a Fipes drum kit in one of the expansions, not sure, I think it was in Nashville. Correct me if I'm wrong. Craviato, we already had some Craviato drums, I think in several drum libraries, not only from Toontrack, but sound great. And this Japanese Canopus drum set out of maple. We have 3 tom set up here. Of course, you can change it, just add another instrument, but we have a 3 tom setup. Some of the kits just come with 2 toms. And we have quite a lot of snares here. And just look at the names. One of them is the MCD Cocobolo or the GMS Voncroft Timeless Timbre. So already the names show you that we are really talking about unique drums that you won't find on every single corner, which is cool. Before I show you some sound examples, as always, if you don't like me talking about the stuff and just wanted to listen to the presets that come along and all the instruments, I made another video with just the presets, no talking, just the sounds. Click on the info box in the top corner right now or in the link in the description box below. So symbol wise, we have Bosphorus cymbals and UFIB, which is a Italian made company, so unique. Never heard any company sample those cymbals. We have China, splashes, some crashes, right? So they didn't exaggerate that, but which is fine. after testing and listening to those drums for one day, I would say those samples or this whole pack isn't made for anyone or any genre. You probably won't use it for really hard metal or this kind of like over processed in your face radio rock pop sounds. This is for all the guys out there that really want some special sounding drums, that love vintage drums, love special drums, special drum sounds. So but now stop talking for a minute. I just loaded up the preset. You see quite a lot of presets, which is not always the case, but I just loaded the original mix, so no further processing beside the processing that's usually on every EZX, like basic EQ compression. So let's have a listen on this little loop here. By the way, I used the Custom Shop MIDI pack that comes along, so have a listen. What you immediately hear is that what I always look for, that the room is not that tremendously big, like in some of the other libraries, which is cool. I would say that this library is really tailor-made for singer-songwriter, pop, folk, country, jazz. So all the genres where you really like some natural sounding drums, but not those, as I said, not this over-processed, big, huge ambient hard rock metal stuff. I like this a lot, and at the end of the video I'm gonna use one of the presets in context of the song, so you're really gonna hear how those drums sound in the context of the mix. So let's just use one of the presets here. Let's the airy cue. And just one another mono creviato. Sounds cool. Let's have a listen on that. So I'm gonna go back to the original mix. Let's talk about some of the channels they recorded. So you have 3 kick drum channels, which I like a lot, especially having separate control of this kick sub. So you can really control the low ends, and some of them have really big low ends. So let's bring it up just a little bit. So you really fat low end, like this a lot, if you need that. Snare top bottom, straightforward, hi-hat, all the toms, a right cymbal, which is cool, so you can control the right cymbal, which is, especially when you use like some of the like jazz stuff, you want to really emphasize the right, so this is cool that you have full control on this. Stereo overheads, ambient stereo, so room mics and the mono room microphone, so pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy, too fancy. So I will loop the mix now with the original mix and solo some of the room microphone so you get an impression how this sounds. And now let's mute all the room microphones here so you just hear the drums. Really like that. Again, symbol-wise, nothing too crazy. China on the left, and some crash, 1, 2, 3 crash slots, and a right, and a pair of heads. As I said, I really like those UFIP symbols because they are rare. And they sampled a whole kit. I think it's the Japanese Canopus kit. Let's switch to one of the kits here with the brushes. So let's maybe have a quick listen on that. Brushes up tempo, and we're gonna go quickly into the grooves. Swing grooves, brushes. So for all the jazz fans out there, using brushes, probably not for E-drummers. Anyways, I like this kit a lot. It's different. It's purely different from anything else Toontrack released so far. But I think this is the special thing that makes this whole library pack so special. The drum tones are not overdone. They were warm, rounded, very well recorded. So I like this a lot. As I said, probably not made for every genre, so it's not that versatile like some of the other packs, but I don't think that this was the purpose for releasing this drum shop. As a drummer for myself, I really like that approach, having some unique drums that you don't find on most of the other stuff that's out there. So if you want something that sits right in the mix, warmth, sound, special tones, I don't think that like the common listener would recognize those to be special drums, but that's not the case for most of the libraries, I think. So I'm looking forward to use those drums on some projects, listen how they react to some mixing. Speaking of mixing, let me quickly load Reaper here and one of the projects I prepared already. So I used a song that I just covered some weeks ago. I think it was the cover of Chris Staples and Tennessee Whiskey when I used the independent EZX library. So I just loaded up the whole project on this and exchanged the SDX, which I used back in the days, with this pack, and you will see that I used the Custom Shop EZX not in the Easy Drama context, and I will let me close this here, but used it inside Superior Drummer, because inside Superior Drummer you have, when you use the SDX, you have more control. So let me just unmute all the drums here. So you see inside Superior Drummer, as always, the EZX is not like that beautifully built like in Easy Drummer. You just like see this little banner here in the back. I loaded up the preset, one of the presets, which is called Power Ballad, because the song is rather slow, and I just adjusted just a little bit of the faders, moving some faders, but basically it's the preset. So what you hear is what you get. Loaded it up straight, the song. This is a song track, some processing. So let's have a listen on that, how that sounds. So you hear, it fits instantly in the mix without really crazy processing. So very well done. And I think this kind of music that I just showed you is perfectly made for this library pack, the Custom Shop EZX. Great release, Toontrack, unexpected, but I think this is the way to go. If I had a wish, I would really like to have this as an SDX, so a Superior Drum expansion, because I think having Superior Drum expansions where you have full control, raw samples, you can process anything from scratch, especially having those handcrafted rare sounds from those drums, from the special drums, really brings out all the advantages of those drums if you have full access. Anyways, I recommend this EZX pack for everyone who likes to experiment with sounds, wants to have something special, singer-songwriter, good productions, probably not the metal guys, but especially for the metal guys, you have a lot of different expansions that you might pick. So that was my first review of the Custom Shop EZX. If you have any questions regarding this product, leave a comment below. As always, thanks so far for watching, guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.